The twin suns of the desert world of Zephora beat down relentlessly on the endless dunes. Sand shimmered like gold, stretching to the horizon in every direction. Every traveler who entered this wasteland knew one truth: few came out alive. Amara, the alien princess of Zephora, had been separated from her caravan during a sudden sandstorm. Her small escort was lost, leaving her alone and badly wounded. Her sleek light blue skin was scorched by the suns and her legs dragged through the burning sand with growing exhaustion. She had been trained in combat and survival, but nothing in the royal curriculum had prepared her for this. Hours turned into a blur of struggle. Her communication device had been destroyed by the storm, leaving her unable to call for help. Each step was more difficult than the last. Her body ached, her energy drained, and the thought of being abandoned forever began to weigh on her mind. Yet deep within, she refused to give up. Her people needed her alive. She needed to survive. Meanwhile, miles away, Ethan, a human explorer from Earth, was crossing Zephora's desert in his all-terrain hover vehicle. Humanity had recently established contact with Zephora and other alien worlds, and Earth had sent several skilled explorers to map and study these planets. Ethan was one of the best, known for his quick thinking and calm under pressure. As he navigated the dunes, his sensors picked up faint life signs. A single human might have ignored such weak signals, but Ethan's training told him differently. He adjusted his course following the readings. After hours of careful maneuvering, he spotted her, a lone figure crawling through the sand, barely moving. Ethan jumped from his vehicle and ran toward her. The closer he got, the more he could see her condition. She was small, fragile-looking, yet she carried herself with a dignity that marked her as someone of importance. Her light blue skin glowed faintly in the sunlight, and even in her weakened state, she exuded an aura of calm strength. "Princess Amara?" Ethan called, hoping his voice would reach her. She barely looked up, but recognition flashed in her eyes. "Yes, I'm Amara," she whispered, her voice hoarse. Ethan quickly assessed her injuries. She had burns on her arms and legs, and her energy levels were dangerously low. He lifted her carefully into his arms and carried her back to his hover vehicle. "You're going to be okay," he reassured her. "I'll get you out of this desert." Inside the vehicle, Ethan activated the climate controls, cooling the interior and providing hydration. He administered a basic medical treatment, cleaning her burns and applying healing gels he carried for emergencies. Amara watched him with a mixture of curiosity and gratitude. She had never seen a human up close before, and his presence was strangely comforting. Why are you helping me?" she asked, still weak but trying to sit up. Ethan smiled faintly. "Because it's the right thing to do. Humans don't leave people behind, no matter who they are, no matter where they come from." Amara considered this. In her world, politics often dictated who was saved and who was left to die. The idea that a stranger would risk his life simply to help someone else was almost alien. No pun intended. Hours passed as Ethan drove her to a safe location, a hidden valley that his maps indicated as a possible shelter. The sun began to set, painting the dunes in fiery oranges and deep purples. Amara's strength was slowly returning thanks to Ethan's care and the nutrient packs he gave her. Humans are different," she said finally, her voice stronger now. "In my world, survival often means abandoning others. You don't do that," Ethan shrugged. "Maybe we learned the hard way that survival isn't just about staying alive. It's about keeping others alive too." Amara smiled faintly. For the first time since being stranded, she felt hope. "You've saved me. I don't know how I can repay you." Ethan laughed lightly. "Just stay alive. That's enough for now. Later, we'll figure out the rest." As night fell, the two made a small camp in the valley. Ethan activated a low-energy protective shield to keep out the cold desert winds. Amara studied the sky, noticing the alien constellations above. She realized that although she was far from her kingdom, she was not alone anymore. Ethan prepared a simple meal from his rations. Amara tasted the food hesitantly. It was nothing like Zyphoran cuisine, but she was too hungry to care. They ate in silence, the quiet only broken by the distant howls of desert creatures. Even in this harsh world, the two found comfort in each other's presence. "Tomorrow, we need to get you to safety," Ethan said after a while. "There's a human base not far from here. From there, you can contact your people." Amara nodded. "I owe you my life. And perhaps more. My people will never forget what you've done." Ethan smiled again. "I'm just a human. I do what humans do. We survive, and we help when we can. That night, as they rested under the alien stars, Amara felt a growing sense of trust. She had been abandoned once, but now she was not alone. Humanity had shown her something her world often failed to teach. Courage, compassion, and honor could shine even in the harshest places. The desert was vast and dangerous, and the journey ahead would not be easy. But together they had a chance. And in that chance, Amara found hope, and perhaps even admiration for the strange, resilient species that had saved her life. The first part of their story ended with the quiet certainty that their bond, forged in adversity, would face tests far greater than the desert itself. But for now, the night was calm and survival seemed possible. For the first time in days, Amara allowed herself to hope. The sun rose slowly over the desert, painting the dunes in shades of orange and pink. The cool night had passed, leaving the heat to return in full force. Amara stirred, feeling stronger than she had the previous day, thanks to Ethan's care and the rations he provided. Ethan was already awake, checking the vehicle and the supplies. "We need to move soon," he said, his voice calm. "The base isn't far, but the desert can change quickly." Amara nodded. She flexed her arms, feeling the stiffness from her injuries. "I feel better. I think I can walk with you now." Ethan smiled. "Good, but we'll take it slow." "No need to push too hard." They set off together, Ethan guiding the hover vehicle along the safest paths while Amara walked beside him. The desert seemed endless, but Ethan's maps and sensors kept them on course. The two traveled in silence for a while, the only sound being the wind and the soft crunch of sand beneath their feet. After a few hours, they reached a rocky area where the dunes gave way to jagged stones. The terrain was difficult, but it offered some shelter from the sun. They took a short break under a natural rock overhang. "Your world." "It is very different from mine," Ethan said, watching Amara carefully. "How do you survive in places like this?" Amara looked out over the desert. "We have our ways. High people are strong, but the desert is unforgiving. You humans, you are brave to cross it so easily." Ethan laughed lightly. "Brave, maybe? Stubborn?" "Definitely." They shared a small smile, the tension easing slightly. Despite their differences, a mutual respect had formed. Both understood that survival depended not just on skill, but on trust and teamwork. As they continued, Amara noticed distant figures moving across the dunes. Her heart skipped a beat. "Ethan, look," she whispered. Ethan squinted. "Patrols, raiders, or your people?" The figures drew closer. As they neared, it became clear. They were a band of scavengers, humans who had lost contact with Earth and turned to survival at any cost. They carried crude weapons, but Ethan kept calm. He had dealt with hostile humans and aliens before. "Stay close," he whispered to Amara, "and stay quiet." The scavengers passed near enough to see them, but Ethan had the advantage of terrain and preparation. He guided Amara behind a rock formation, using the shadows to remain hidden. The group moved on, unaware of the pair nearby. "That was close," Amara said, her voice trembling slightly. Ethan placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Too close. But you're safe now. Let's keep moving." Hours passed and the desert heat rose higher. Amara began to tire, but she refused to slow Ethan down. He noticed, of course. "We'll take another break soon," he said gently. "You don't have to keep up with me all the time." Eventually, they reached a small oasis, a rare cluster of greenery and fresh water in the desert. Amara's eyes widened in relief. "Water and shade." Ethan smiled. "Exactly. Take a drink, rest a bit. We've earned it." Amara drank deeply, feeling her strength return with each sip. She sat under a palm-like tree, letting the shade cool her skin. "Ethan, I have never met a human like you. Your courage, your care. It is remarkable," Ethan shrugged. "I just do what I think is right. Anyone would help someone in trouble." Amara shook her head. "No, not everyone. Many would leave me to die, but you risked yourself for a stranger." Ethan smiled, a bit embarrassed by the praise. "Maybe I am stubborn. Or maybe I just know that helping someone can make all the difference." They rested for a while, talking quietly about their worlds. Amara shared stories of Zyphora, of her people and their customs, while Ethan described Earth and humanity's recent space exploration efforts. Despite the differences, they found common ground. Both species valued courage, honor, and the protection of others. As the sun began to lower in the sky, Ethan packed up their supplies. We should move again. The base isn't far, but we'll need to reach it before nightfall. The journey continued, but the desert threw new challenges at them. A sudden gust of wind kicked up sand, reducing visibility to almost nothing. Ethan guided Amara close, shielding her as they moved slowly through the storm. The sand stung their skin and the heat was suffocating, but they persevered. Finally, after hours of careful navigation, they reached the edge of a canyon. At the bottom, a small human research base appeared, hidden between rocks. Lights flickered and a few figures moved around. Ethan's face lit up with relief. "We made it." Amara looked at the base, her heart swelling with gratitude. "You saved me, Ethan, truly saved me." Ethan smiled. "No need for thanks. You've earned your life back. Now let's get you inside safely." Inside the base, Amara was treated by advanced medical systems. Her burns and injuries were stabilized, and soon she was feeling almost normal again. The staff treated her with respect and curiosity, fascinated by her alien physiology and royalty. Over the next few days, Amara and Ethan worked together to communicate with her people. Messages were sent, and soon a fleet from Zyphora arrived to bring her home. Before she left, Amara turned to Ethan. "You have my deepest gratitude," she said. "Humanity is remarkable. Your courage, your compassion, it is unforgettable. You have shown me a side of your species I could never have imagined." Ethan smiled. "Just doing what humans do. We help when we can, survive when we must, and never leave someone behind." As Amara prepared to return to her world, she looked back at the desert, then at Ethan. She knew that she had made a friend, and perhaps more than a friend, who would forever hold a place in her memory. The twin suns of Zyphora reflected off the hovercraft as she departed. Ethan watched her go, proud of the human spirit that had guided him to help her survive. He knew that in the vast galaxy, humans could be small in number but mighty in courage and heart. And so the story of survival, trust, and human heroism came to a close, at least for now. Amara returned to her people safe and stronger than ever, while Ethan remained in the desert, ready to face whatever challenges the galaxy would throw at him next. In the end, it was not technology, nor weapons, nor power that had saved her, but humanity itself. Brave, compassionate, and endlessly resourceful.